World Students' Day is observed as October 15 each year. The day is set aside to honor former Indian President Dr. Abdul Kalam's many contributions, especially in the fields of academia and research. And this year's theme is If You Fail, Never Give Up, because fail means first attempt in learning. Meanwhile, United Nations Children's Fund, Unicef, is calling for foundational learning skills to stop learning crises and improve learning outcomes in primary schools in Nigeria. UNICEF's education specialist, Mrs. Yetunde Oluwatosin, who spoke at a media workshop on foundational literacy and numeracy, said limited infrastructure, dearth of teachers, limited learning data, especially on proficiency level, are among the causes of the problem. And joining me to talk about this is Comrade Obaro Egagifo, who is the Special Assistant to the Delta State Governor. Good morning. Glad to have you join me.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right. Now, straight to the conversation. Looking at this year's theme for the World Students' Day, if you fail, you never give up. In what way do you think the Nigerian government can encourage Nigerian students not to give up in any quest of theirs?
Okay, thank you very much. The theme for this year is actually, if you fail, don't give up. You know, it's actually a strong word, and it is something that everybody that is in government needs to encourage. It's something that even every student on its own will have to abide by. It is something that every student on its own that is determined not to fail will have to do everything to make sure he or she sustains. So the theme for this year is actually up. On the government side, whatever that will take government to ensure that Nigeria students have uninterrupted educational system is what should be encouraged. Because what actually brings failure? Failure comes when the environment is hostile. Failure comes when the environment is not friendly. Failure comes when the systems are not working. If a government really wants to tackle all this, the government needs to put everything, all machineries in place to make sure that students, even on their own, have the enabling environment to pursue their academy at every given level so that they can succeed in their chosen endeavor. So governments have a role, the students as well also have their own roles to play to ensure that they never give up in their pursuit of their life career.
Okay. Now, Comrade Egagifo, UNICEF is advocating for digital skills in a way to eradicate, learning poverty. What's your take on this?
Yes, that is actually the sure way to go. That is actually the sure way to go. That advocacy is in order. It's actually the direction that every nation ought to go, particularly for nations that have issues that is struggling with poverty, for nations that are still struggling with out-of-school children, for nations that are still struggling with how they can set a pace in terms of educational standard. So that advocacy is actually a way to go. When we talk about digital skills, we are talking about the activity that actually the demography of the student community actually love and what they enjoy doing. When you avail them that opportunity of digital skill, it makes learning so seamless for them. Thank God for today's day and age. Technology, we can leverage on technology in so many areas. So I want to encourage every government at the national and sub-national state to key into the advocacy, that aspect of education that is the digital skill, so that every child can leverage on it to achieve its full potential. So It's actually a good way. It's actually a way to go. The digital technology is actually a way to go for today, day and time.
Now, I like what you mentioned about eradicating poverty, in students across the universities or any form of learning. Now, talking about poverty, a number of students have become out-of-school children, dropped out of school because they lack finance to, process their education. Apart from subsidized fee, what other measures do you think can be put in place to ensure we reduce the number of out-of-school children we have in Nigeria currently?
Yes, there are so many factors, but sometimes it's always good you localize your discussion to to where to your particular locality. When we talk about other things we can do apart from subsidized fee, yes, subsidized fee is one of it. If you look at the things that have been happening in the country in the recent time, one of the major factors that has played in the life of Nigeria students has to do with financing their education. In fact, I'm an advocate for those that say that education should be affordable, because but not for affordable education. Maybe somebody like me whom I'll be speaking to you today, but not for affordable education. Maybe somebody like me who will have opportunity to even get education. I always advocate for affordable education. In part from the subsidized Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori has granted to students schooling in Delta State. I actually use the word student schooling in Delta State because across board, if you are from other states and you are schooling in Delta State, that reduction is also applicable to you. The Delta State has actually made provision for access, investing in addition to one that has already been existing. So, and these 4 universities are running very well. Their programs are running very well. They are very, very attractive. But the funny part of it is that the access is still not there. If you look at the admission quota on yearly basis, you see that we still need some level of access because of the regulation from the NUC. So you see the issue of access is something that every government should take very seriously. I'm not an advocate of those that says that a university should be established on the basis of political patronage. No, but I believe that if we must talk about education and get education right in this country, we need to create more access. We need to create access. And looking at access, we may not be looking at only the conventional ways of schooling. You just establish a university that runs all kinds of faculty and all that. No, we must look at our peculiarity. And I thank God for what the Delta State government is doing, actually, in the real sense of it. We have some sort of diversity, apart from the state university that we have the Delta State University, then we have the University of Science and Technology that could leverage on technology, that our students can begin to look at a direction that is self-sustaining, that even when they acquire this education, the education will be sustainable for them.
All right.
This education as well will also be something that will also leverage on for the betterment of the society. So other things that can actually be done, you could also look at scholarship. You know,
all right,
of course,
Comrade.
I always relate to
yes.
The issue of scholarship.
All right, Comrade Obaro Egagifo. This is where we have to end the conversation. It's been insightful speaking with you, Special Assistant to the Delta State Governor. Thank you for your insight this morning.